Hello, hello, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining me if you're watching. Just going to check if my audio is going through and connecting here to youtube.com/PJS Center and on my Facebook Live here. Let me transition here so you guys can all see me. Hello there, it is Wednesday, April 22nd, and I am PJS, and we are live. And so if you're watching on youtube.com, please let me know who you are. Hit that live chat button, and I would love to connect with you where you're watching from. Uh, Please ask questions. We'd love to do a live Q&A here with you guys. For those of you joining me for the first time, I'm trying to do this Monday through Friday at 12 p.m., 5 days a week. And I say try because there are some days that I just miss. What can I say? The reality of life is real. And I just can't do it sometimes because of certain things going on in the home, or just literally cannot get to. Um, well, my mouse is acting crazy. Cannot get to it because of projects with church and things like that. Um, I think Satan has possessed my mouse. Like literally, I'm moving it, and then it's moving by itself. Uh, so I'm trying to connect with all of you guys. Hopefully that you guys are all healthy and strong. And again, this is just me just trying to connect all of you. I am a pastor and just trying to see if you guys are doing well. As you guys read in the description, the bride of Christ must shine. And that is what I'll be talking about today. What does that mean that the bride of Christ must shine? Well, it means a couple of things. The bride of Christ is the church. And right now, during this COVID-19 crisis, and even if we weren't in the crisis, the bride must always shine, right? The church must always shine. And during this crisis, especially, the church need to, whatever you want to put in there, must shine. And it is so important for this to happen. We are in a time right now in a crisis where people are looking for hope and answers. And I shared the statistic before. It was from a Carey Nieuwhof article. But because we are in such a crisis, we're in crisis mode, people are looking for help. They're looking for help. People are also looking for answers. And people are also looking for hope. They're looking for hope right now. I muted my mic for that cough. I didn't want you to hear it. And guess what? 49%, 49% of attendance has gone up by 49% in churches, watching online. Churches are reporting that 49% more connection is happening right now. Why? Because people are looking for answers. They're looking for hope. They're looking for assistance. They're looking for aid. And whether that's good or bad, maybe some of you guys are skeptical and saying like, well, it's because they're looking for money. Whatever it is, the main point right now is that they're turning to the church. A lot of people are turning to the church. And and so in one sense, the bride of Christ must shine, the church must shine, is because guess what? People are actually connecting to some of your churches. And you must shine. You must pull through for them. I'm not saying to give away all this money, but I will address that. There are specific ways in how your church can help them, whether it's with financial assistance or at least with food. But they're looking for some sort of encouragement and hope. And let me just say this, churches. Maybe you guys don't have food banks, and maybe you're just not financially set to be giving out money. I really don't know which church is. I've never heard of any church right now that is just giving away a bunch of money right now, because they would be mobbed if that was true. But churches, you must be ready because even if you can't do those things, the question is, what are you going to do for them? You have to do something. You don't just say, we don't have food, we don't have money, therefore we can't help you. That is a wasted opportunity. Now, that is difficult. I'm not saying that this is easy, but what I am saying is, churches, please get on it and figure something out. What are you going to do for them? What are you going to provide for them? Provide some sort of hope and encouragement for these people who are losing their jobs, who do need food, and you can't provide for them. So then, what are you going to do? And please think very strategic here, but be very sensitive and gentle as well. You don't just pray for them some simple prayer and ask them to move on. No, this is a time for counsel. They need counseling. They need to be heard. They want you to listen to them. And so, church, as people are turning to the church, attendance online is shooting up 49%. Church, God is sending you people. He is sending you people, and what are you doing with them? What are you going to be doing with these people who are connecting to your churches? Now, there's another thing that there's another way of how the church can shine brightly, and there's another way of making sure the church shines, and this is where we come into that uh, kind of assistance through food and things like that. Look, most churches I know they don't have food banks. My church, Saddleback Church, we have something called a food bank at multiple campuses, not at every campus, but multiple campuses. But guess what? There's another church around you maybe that does have a food bank that is packaging bags of food and supplies and giving it to people. Saddleback Church, we have served thousands. I'm not making this number up. Thousands of people since this whole lockdown has happened, and people are coming to different campuses and collecting food and supplies because they can't work. They're out of work. Before this crisis even happened, they were out of work and they need help. And so, church, I'm asking you, if your church doesn't have a food bank, you're not set up to assist the people around your city to do this, then I'm asking you, please find another church. And again, I do specifically mean church. Find another church that is doing something like this, like a food bank, so that you can ask your church to donate food to that food bank, or to even donate money to that food bank, as that church is set up for something like that. And the reason why I say church is because, again, the church, the bride of Christ, needs to shine right now. There are other nonprofit organizations out there that are doing plenty of good. These guys are not bad companies or bad things, but we want the glory to go to God. We want the glory to go to the bride of Christ. We want the church to shine brightly, so that we are using it as a mode of evangelism or as a mode of connection, or when the whole thing dies down, hopefully soon, that those people will remember, oh, that was that church that provided food, that provided money for me, not this, nonprofit, whatever it is that provided for me. Now, again, I'm not knocking these nonprofit organizations. These are nonprofits that are doing great things, but as a Christian, as a disciple of Christ, you guys know we're thinking about an eternal plan right now. We're thinking about an eternal strategy right now to connect them to Jesus and to the gospel, so that they can be forgiven of their sins, live the new life according to the plan of Christ and the plan of God, the gospel plan. And so, again, the bride of Christ must shine. The church must shine. So, churches, if you are, what's up, Jerome? I see you. I hope you're doing well, man. Uh, Churches, if you guys are not set up for anything like that, I said this yesterday, I said this last week too. I know every church is scrambling. You guys are trying to figure out how to do online services. You guys are trying to use OBS Streamlabs. You guys are trying to use Facebook Live, YouTube Live, all this stuff. But while you're trying to do that, please don't forget about the people outside of your church. Yes, you're trying to take care of your sheep, take care of your flock, take care of your congregation. There are people in your church that are hurting and maybe have lost jobs too. You need to show them love and you need to minister to them. But don't forget about the people outside of your church. Remember, the church has also just this obligation, this duty. We are the church. We need to evangelize and minister to the people in our cities as well. So while you are ministering to your congregation, make sure you're also teaching your congregation that this is a time where our faith is going to get exposed. And we can't just bunker down and just take care of each other. I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but we also need to think about the people around us. And again, faith is being exposed. Are we going to still be generous during times of trials? Are we still going to be giving during times of trials and challenges? Are we still going to be loving our neighbor through acts of kindness during times of hardship and difficulty? And the answer is yes, we must be. We must be. But maybe people aren't thinking about that, and that's natural because we're scared. We're trying to make sure that we're taking care of our family. So while that's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Pastors, leaders, you guys also need to uh, teach your churches that at the same time we need to continue to help people outside of the church. So church, if you guys don't have a food bank, you're not set up for that, things like that. That's okay. Don't try to start a food bank right now. That would be kind of impossible. It'd be very, very difficult, and it might be just extra kind of stress and pain that you don't need to do. So make it easy for yourself. Therefore, as a church, collect money and then donate it to another church's food bank. Or as a church, tell your people the next time you're at Ralph's, the next time you're at Target, pick up an extra bag of apples or pick up some extra shampoo or extra diapers or some extra canned soup and drop off those bags of food and supplies to a church near you that is set up for a food bank. Like I said, Saddleback Church, we have a food bank. We have it on multiple campuses. There's one in Anaheim, there's one in Irvine, there's one in Lake Forest. I think there's another one in LA. Donate to some of these food banks at our churches that are near you, or donate to another food bank at a church so that, again, the church is shining brightly. The bride of Christ is shining brightly so that in the end, these people could hopefully maybe visit that church and get connected to the eternal plan, which is the gospel. And so I don't want our churches to just bunker down and only think about our congregations, but while we are ministering to each other, while we are taking care of each other, while we are making sure that our families are safe and healthy, those are all good things. Continue to do that. You should be doing that. But let us not do that at the expense, at the cost of those around us who are losing their jobs, who need food, who need assistance. And there's so many churches around me, and there's so many churches that I know don't have these things called food banks, but there are churches around you that do. Therefore, this is not a time to be territorial here. This is not a time to be thinking, well, if I give my money as a church or tell my church to give food and supplies to this church, do we get any of the credit? This is not a time to be territorial here. This is a time where, again, we are better together. We need to rally together, and we need to be working together. And if another church has something like a food bank that is doing so much good and help for those who are losing their jobs and then need assistance, then that is what you should be focusing on. This is not a time for who gets credit and for reputation. This is a time to look. We need to be helping those who need help. We need to be helping those who need help. And so let the bride of Christ shine right now. We need the church needs to step up and step up in ways, even though you may not be set up for food and things like that. So go help out another church, provide for them. Saddleback Church, we are in desperate need of food and supplies because we have been. I already said this, helped out thousands of families, and our food banks are running out of food. And so we are one example. This right here is not for me to get you to donate to my church. If you can, that's great. But this right here is to donate to any church that is rocking a food bank, any church that's rocking these ministries that they're already set up for. And I ask you guys to please urge your congregation, your members, if they can, if they can. This is not a time for families that are already struggling and they can't give. No, I'm talking about the families who are able to do it. They haven't lost their jobs. They're financially set. Their food supply is good. These are the families where generosity should be obvious and should be practiced because, I mean, it sounds bad, but I mean, it is. It is true, but it's easy for them. This is easy for those who are already set in life. But pastors and leaders need to be teaching them that this is something, that this is a time where we got to do it. We got to do it. So the bride of Christ needs to shine again. Instead of giving to other nonprofit organizations that are doing good too, uh, make sure do it for a church. Give it to a church. The church needs to shine. The church needs the one who could follow through with the evangelism and the gospel plan and eternal plan. And churches, you gotta step up. We gotta step up. We gotta just think about our cities right now, the people around us who are struggling, and and again, 49% of attendance has gone up in online services. Why? Because people are turning to the church for help. They're turning to the church to seek answers and encouragement. So here's my third or fourth point. I don't know if it's the third or fourth point, but the bride of Christ must shine, and and one of the ways that we must shine and follow through is we must be ready to answer some of these questions. We must be ready to answer some of these people who are angry. We must be ready to counsel some of these people who are going through grief and loss. And we must be ready. We must be ready not just to uh, give them simple answers and try to hang up the phone as fast as possible, but we must be ready to unpack what it means to trust in God, to unpack what it means to go through times of suffering for the Lord and why that's okay. We must unpack what it means to, even in our pit of despair, to continue to find hope in Jesus. And church, you're going to be tested. Christians, you're going to be tested. Again, our faith is being exposed. A lot of these things sound very cliche, and maybe in your life, maybe it is cliche. Maybe there's not much meaning behind that or weight behind that because you never had or never really answered that question in depth. And so your faith is going to be exposed. So be ready. Be ready to just be able to unpack and explain what some of these powerful biblical truths mean. Because if you're not able to do that, your faith is going to be exposed. If you're not able to do that, you're squandering so much opportunity right now. Right now, at this very moment, there is so much opportunity on the table. There's so much on the table for the church right now, and and churches are either not taking that opportunity or they're squandering it. They're squandering it. And when I say opportunity, I'm not talking about profits and money right now. I'm talking about opportunities for evangelism. I'm talking about opportunities to connect people to Jesus. And there's so many people out there who have been Christians their whole life, but they've never been really tested in their faith or in their biblical knowledge, or their faith is very superficial. Therefore, when they are going to get tested, they're going to get exposed and they're not really sure how to answer some of these questions in depth. So, churches, get ready. You should be ready. And Colossians 4:2, there's opportunities that are coming, and we're praying for these opportunities. But you better be ready for these opportunities. Be ready to speak. Be ready to engage with these people because so many people are turning to the church. Imagine the opportunities here for evangelism. Imagine the opportunities here to connect people. So many churches are always wondering, how do I get people to my church? Especially church plants. I used to be a church planter for 2 years, hardest thing I ever did in my life. So many people are always wondering, man, I'm trying to get people to church. Guess what? People are turning to your churches right now, and it's easier than ever for people. My friend Dr. Jeff Kim said this last night, and it's such a good point. I think more people are turning to the church not just because we're going through a crisis, but it's actually easier to attend church right now because you don't have to drive to church. I mean, just imagine how easy it is for people to watch an online service from their living room. Think about the introverts, or think about the people who feel so awkward walking to a church, maybe because of bad experiences, or it's just weird. Just imagine the ease it is for people to connect to churches right now online. You don't have to sit next to people you don't know. You don't have to feel all that anxiety and be nervous because no one knows you and you don't know anyone and you're wondering, is anyone going to talk to me? It's so easy for them just to turn on an online service. This is why probably attendance of online service has gone up 49%. So think about this opportunity here, guys. So many people, it's easy for them now to connect to you. And are we connecting to them? Are we following up with them? Are we doing the best that we can with all these opportunities that the Lord is sending us? So, bride of Christ, shine brightly. You must shine brightly. There's so much opportunity on the table right now. Don't squander it. There's so much opportunity on the table right now. Please, please take it. Take this opportunity. Take this advantage. Take advantage of this right now, because we're going to be in this mode. We're going to be in this kind of online digital church kind of service and mode for a while. For a while. I don't know what state you're watching from, but California, May 15th. The guys, this is going to go longer than May 15th. That's just kind of a set date in mind. We have no idea how low the infections are going to go. And even if we were at a low point, May 15th does not mean everything's going to open up back up just as normal. Uh, Large gatherings are probably going to be the last thing that opens up. We're not going to say baseball stadiums and basketball stadiums and hockey stadiums, and especially churches with large gatherings open up. It's probably going to be the last thing that opens up. And if it does open up, there's going to be very strict uh, social distancing measures in place, which are good. They should be happening. And so we're going to be in this mode for a while. So in this new normal, how are you connecting with people who are connecting to you online? Get ready for that. Set up for that this weekend. You guys need to be thinking about this. Don't just think about your congregation only. Think about your sheep and think about the others who are actually tuning into your services. Don't think about the hurting in your church only. Think about them, but also think about the others who are hurting around your city. How are you ministering to them? How are you going to be a shining light to them? And some of them are turning to your churches for that hope. The church, to a lot of non-believers, is kind of synonymously kind of thought of as like a beacon of hope or a place where they can maybe find assistance. Whatever it is, the bottom line is they're turning to you. They're turning to you. And be ready for them. Be ready for them. Be ready to minister to them. Be ready to counsel them. Be ready to engage them when they ask questions like, why is God allowing this to happen? Why does God allow suffering? How come God doesn't just come in and heal everyone? How come God doesn't just come in and just kind of kill this virus? Church, shine brightly. You must shine brightly right now, because people are tuning in and they want to know answers. They want to know answers. And if Christians and churches can't answer these questions beyond a cliche 2-sentence answer, then your faith is being exposed. You need to start studying and getting a little bit more uh, mature in your understanding of how God operates and works, and maybe this is a good motivator for you to get involved with evangelism. A lot of people are scared of evangelism because they're scared of this, exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know the answers to all these questions. Well, good. This motivate you. Go study. Get to know some of these not basic answer questions, but get to know some of these basics. And I'm telling you, these are the questions they're going to ask you. I'm telling you what's on the test. So I'm making it easy for you. Everyone's going to ask you, why does God allow suffering? Why is God allowing the suffering of COVID-19? How is God a good God when there's suffering happen? These are all the questions they're going to ask you. How come God doesn't just come in and heal us? Doesn't that mean that God is not real? These are all the questions. I'm giving you the questions to the test. go study, find answers to those questions. Again, churches, please, I'm asking you guys, if you're not set up for a food bank, please get your churches rally together and ask your church members to donate to a church food bank around you who are ministering to people with the gospel as they're helping others. And we need churches, we need to work together. This is a time to work together. This is not a time to be territorial. This is not a time to be afraid of connecting people to another church because you think that they're going to leave your church. I really doubt that's going to happen because they can't leave. There's nowhere to go. So please, let's work together right now. And there are a lot of people who are in need, a lot of people who need assistance. And so, Bride of Christ Church, shine brightly wherever you are, whether you're in California, whether you're in another state. Be ready to connect with these people who are watching, who are tuning in. They're looking for answers. Be ready to give answers. Be ready to follow up. And please assist those churches around you who are doing food banks. They need food. They need money. They need money to go buy more food. We need to work together. Thanks, guys, for watching. Again, I'll try to be here tomorrow, 12 p.m. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PJS Center. You guys can connect with me there or subscribe there. I got some creative content, some pour-over coffee shows, interviews, and a vlog and things like that. And for those who are watching on Facebook, thanks, guys, for watching. And I hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy.